Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be making this washcloth. I'm not going to do stripes. This is just a washcloth that I did stripes on before. I'm making this with, I'll show you the label. I don't know where you buy it from. I bought it off of Facebook Marketplace. Somebody was selling 28 skeins of it. I bought it because it was cotton and had cotton in it. It's 46% cotton. That's the size of the hook it calls for, but I'm going to use a 4. And I'm going to use this violet color, so I'm not doing stripes. But the pattern stitch we're going to use is called a griddle stitch. So it gives a nice, if you're using it for a face cloth, it's good for, it's scrubby. So it's pretty easy stitch. Let's get started. So like I said, I'm going to use this purple. My 4mm or G hook. And we're just going to make a slip knot. I'm going to chain 35. So that's my 35. My chain looks funny because this yarn is woven funny. It isn't like a normal weave. So this gives it texture as well as the stitch, the pattern stitch we're going to use. So the pattern stitch is pretty easy and basic, but it gives you such an interesting look, if you can see. It's hard for my camera to focus. But it's such an easy stitch. So easy. You're going to alternate. You're just alternating stitches. So your first stitch, just do a single crochet. You got 34 working stitches here, so your first stitch is going to be a single crochet. Your next stitch is going to be a double. Your next stitch is going to be a single. Your next stitch is going to be a double. That's the griddle stitch. You're just alternating between single and double. Or whatever you want, double, triple. You're just alternating stitches. So you can go single, half double, there's different variations, I'm sure. This is the one I use because it gives a nice texture and it's fast enough, Throw my ball on the floor. So if you don't remember where you just left off and you do 2 singles or 2 doubles in a row, it will not be noticeable. So this is completely beginner friendly because you can't screw this up. Yeah, see, I just don't remember where I just left off. Your mind gets wandering when you do stitches like this. But like I said, you can't screw it up. So you don't have to use the same yarn I'm using because, like I said, I don't know where you even buy it, but just a regular griddle stitch will give you that scrubby feeling. You don't have to have the textured cotton, but I would still suggest cotton. I find acrylic stretches too much. And if you happen to be wiping off the stove or something, you're not going to burn your hand as bad as you would through acrylic or start it on fire. Cotton, just not fire resistant, but you know, sometimes I wipe the burner off after doing dishes and it's still hot. So you don't need to worry about whether you're chaining 1 or chaining 2 or anything else. It's not going to be used as a stitch anyway. So after I chain 1, I'm going to go right into this very first stitch. And that's going to keep my sides nice and straight. So you can see where I put my double crochet. There's a double crochet right there. So I'm going to put another single in here because I'm just going to try to follow what I did. It's going to take a bit to recognize where the single went, where the double went. So if you're doing the complete opposite, don't worry about it. It's not going to be noticeable. This is as beginner friendly as it can get. It's still going to look great. It's still going to have that feel. So don't worry if you don't know where you're putting your stitches. But I like to put my doubles on top of my doubles. Other people do the griddle stitch differently. They like to do the opposite. So on top of their double from the previous row, they like to put a single. But we're doing beginner friendly right now, so like I said, it doesn't really matter. There's really no rhyme or reason. Griddle stitch is just a nice, easy stitch to get along with. And it gives you a really cool look. And then when you add this textured yarn to it, it's super neat. So I did 26 rows. You can do however big you want. Really nothing more to tell you other than you alternate your stitches. And I will see you after we get it as long as we want it. And the end of this video is just going to basically be showing you how I did the half double crochet around. I just did a border around the whole project of half double crochet just to kind of clean it up and make it look nice. You know, maybe hide some of those crooked sides if you didn't get into all your stitches, or you know. So I showed you that very first stitch. You got to make sure you get into this very last turning over stitch. So if you turn this over, you can see there's a stitch right there. I gotta do a double. So if you make sure you get into this last stitch and then that first stitch I showed you, your two sides should remain straight. So that's what it's gonna look like. It is super cute and super scrubby feeling. Soft scrubby, not rough scrubby. So I did 26 rows if that's helpful. And I will see you back here and we'll complete this together. Alrighty, so I'm back, and now I don't have my 26 rows done. I like smaller dishcloths, which is what I'm making here is a dishcloth. But yeah, let me see if I can zoom. Just wanted to show you what this stitch looks like. I mean, I know you can see your own work, but so all we're going to do now to finish this off, chain 2. I chained 1 already, so I'm just chaining 1. So I'm going to do a half double crochet. For here I can follow my stitches. Down the sides I'm going to have to create stitches, but I'm going to do a half double crochet. It's nice, it's tight. and it'll just clean up the edges in every single stitch. If you've dropped a stitch here and there and you don't have 34 anymore, you can fix it here. I don't think it'll make much of a difference, but you can still fix it. And if your sides aren't completely straight, it's also good for kind of straightening up the sides that you may not have gotten straight because you've missed stitches on the sides, or you know. So I'm going to put 2 in this corner just so it covers this and this. Now when I turn it, this is where I've got to make stitches because I don't have stitches, so I have to make them. And it's basically just sticking your hook in wherever there's a space and making a stitch. There's no really rhyme or reason, but I would count to see how many you did down the side so that you can make it even on this side. So that's 24. I managed to get 24 down the side. I'm going to put 2 in that same space just to keep my corners round, and then I've got stitches to follow here. So then when you come back over here, you're going to have to do 24 stitches over here. So I'm on my last stitch, and I'm going to go right into this next stitch, and I'm going to slip stitch and fasten off with enough to weave. And there we go, our washcloth. So there's our edging all the way around. Just kind of makes the washcloth, kind of finishes it off right. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.